What's going on, guys? It's your man Ed Hayes, the wholesale coach here, back for another podcast, guys. And I want to start off this podcast by letting you all know that I just recently created a brand new course to show you all how to utilize Propstream to automate your business. Now, I know a lot of people who listen to this podcast have Propstream or considering getting it. So I just decided to go ahead and give you all like a little mini tutorial. It's short and sweet. It's maybe like 10 videos inside of there, straight to the point. And it's a free course. It's absolutely free. I'm not charging for it. So I wanted to just start off the podcast by letting you all know that for the first 100 people who enroll into the course. I was trying to think of the word, but the first 100 people who enroll into the course, I'm allowing them in for absolutely free. But I realized that I haven't told you all on the podcast that I've released it, and I'm pretty sure that we've topped 100 people already. So I've decided that I'm gonna add on like an additional like 50 slots for anyone who's listening to the podcast or anybody else who hasn't signed up yet. So guys, take advantage of the absolutely free Propstream training course if you're interested in how to automate your business, how to just use Propstream to build your business. And so it's $99 a month, just so you all know, just a little disclaimer on that or whatever. Like, but they start off with a 7-day free trial, so you can start off with like a little free trial, and then know how to use it, utilize it. However, if you cancel it, so be it, right? But I believe that you may truly like it if you do actually keep it. You could just really analyze properties really well. It helps you keep track of everything. You can market to them on there. It's absolutely amazing. And honestly, I feel like it's a no-brainer if you're a wholesaler. You kind of need this software. So just check it out. Give it a look-see. Just wanted to let you all know that that was available for you all for absolutely free. Anyway, outside of that though, guys, I just want to let you all know that I want to kind of talk about like how to get out here and get some deals. All right, so we just gonna have like a casual conversation today. I'm not gonna try to go too hard on this particular episode of the mastermind, right? But I really want to talk to you all about really kind of being consistent, kind of getting out here and getting deals. Okay, so I've been having a lot of conversations recently with people who've signed up for the Wholesaling Mastermind group recently. And everybody's kind of in the process of, building up that cash buyers list and, starting to transition over to calling some motivated sellers. So I figured that in this podcast, I can kind of talk about some of the things that I've been telling, the group members about building out that cash buyers list, the value of it, and how to actually go about that in a smooth, efficient way. And shout out to all of my Wholesaling Mastermind group members who are listening to this. And you guys have been absolutely crushing it, just killing it. I'm looking forward to seeing you all out at Wednesday's session. All right, so let's just kind of talk about building up this cash buyers list now. A lot of you all probably aren't very privy to a lot of the information that I talk about inside of the group and stuff like that, but I'm going to share some of this with you all on this session of the podcast. So just a few sites that I recommend that you all check out to find yourself a list of cash buyers. Now I know, I'm always talking about building up that cash buyers list first, right? I'm always telling everybody, make sure that you go out here, you do it the right way, you get your buyers first, find out what they want, and then just go give it to them. So that being said, here are 3 sites that you can go to start building up your cash buyers list. Then I'm going to break down why I use these sites and what to think about and consider when you're actually calling your buyer. So let's get into it. I hope you got some pen and paper. You might want to write this down. If not, on your phone, on some paper, whatever. All right. So site number 1 is going to be gosection8.com. So that's GO section and then the number 8.com. It's a great site to be able to pull cash buyers from. Site number 2 is going to be forrentbyowner.com. Okay, another great site to start building up that list of cash buyers. And lastly, forsalebyowner.com. That's going to be the last site, guys. So those three sites. I highly recommend that you check them all out to start building up that cash buyers list. Now, let me break down why I'm recommending that you all check out these sites. Now, if you're using my strategy, like the quote unquote reverse wholesaling, or the way to reverse engineer the deal, so you're working quote unquote for the buyers, not really working for them, but like you're working you're working hand in hand with these buyers to actually fulfill their acquisitions. So when you go to these sites, the reason why I like them, first off, is because you don't have to worry about it being a bunch of wholesalers, or, you're hoping that these people are buyers, and you don't have to go through the skip tracing process, essentially. So you don't have to hope and wish that you're talking to cash buyers, because that's how it is sometimes. If you buy a list from anybody that's going to have skip trace phone numbers, or maybe you've got to skip trace them manually yourself, or you're paying a VA to be able to skip trace, that takes time and money. On all three of those sites, they will have, well, at least definitely on Go Section 8, they may have changed it on for rent by owner and for sale by owner. I feel like I'm partially responsible for that. But they on GoSection8.com, they've got the landlord's name and phone number right there. So these people are pretty much raising their hand saying, hey, I need help. I'm looking for a tenant in my place. Now, you may be wondering, like, okay, well, explain this, like kind of break this down more for me. So essentially, it's like this. We're looking for homeowners who may be interested in purchasing more properties. So the question, when you're reverse engineering everything, the question that you need to ask yourself then is like, okay, well, where do buyers reside? Where are the real life buyers on the internet? Most buyers are trying to make sure that their properties, their units, stay rented. So they're on those sites like for sale by owner, for rent by owner, and Go Section 8. Now, obviously, with for sale by owner, a lot of those people will be sellers. But guess what? They have a sell and a buy side. So you can reach out to people who may be selling their place, but they may have more properties that they want to purchase as well. Maybe they're just liquidating one or two properties, but they're in the process of purchasing 25 more units or something, and they're just clearing out space. So you've essentially got an untapped market of buyers right there. And the reason why we're doing it like this is because we want to reach out to them and simply see if they're interested in purchasing any more properties. Now, I know if you have my contracts, if you have my contracts already, then you have my cash buyer script inside of the package. Now, like essentially, what you're going to be starting off this conversation with is that you're just going to be like, hey, John, is this John? They're going to be like, yeah, this is John. You're like, hey, John, my name's Ed. I'm reaching out because I see that you had a property listed on GoSection8.com, and I was just reaching out to see if you were interested in purchasing any more. Kind of stumbled over my words right there, but you all get the point. It's like, but this is super important that you get the words out fluently. Hey, John, my name's Ed. I'm just reaching out to try to see. I see that you had a property listed on GoSection8.com, and I was just reaching out to see if you were interested in purchasing any more. Just like that. It's got to come out good, though. You got to understand where I'm coming from. And like that's the hook right there. That's how you hook them into the conversation. If you don't lock down that hook, if you sound timid, scared, nervous, unsure of yourself, they're going to buy that, or I should say not buy that. And now they're going to start grilling you, asking you a bunch of questions, giving you a hard time. So just understand that there's always kind of like a power play on these conversations. And, a lot of these people that you'll talk to, a lot of these buyers, they're like macho men, they're kind of power players. So they really know how to kind of utilize and leverage their power on a conversation. And in interpersonal relationships in general, they're very, very good at that. That's how they got to where they are. So they'll be trying to put you in like a subservient position a lot of times. But you've got to make sure that you keep yourself even with them at all times, okay? And ways that you can kind of go about doing that is like they may be asking you questions, but you've got to make sure that when you're in a conversation with a buyer or seller, whoever is talking the most is the person who loses, kind of. It's not necessarily loses like in a bad way, quote unquote fingers, you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily losing, but if you're trying to sell something or if you're trying to get someone to agree to something, you need them talking. Okay, so you want to be asking questions. You want to be asking them about themselves, about their business. You want to be holding their feet to the fire to avoid ending up in a subservient position, such as like asking them to send you the addresses of some properties that they've closed on in the past. You want to ask for their name, phone number, and best email address, like best name, phone number. Well, not best name, but name, best phone number, and email address. That's super important as well. You definitely want to be making sure that you ask them as well their criteria, which is the most important thing that you can be getting from them is that criteria. Okay, so three things, most important things. You got the whole script. There's probably like 14 questions on there, but the most important questions are the contact information, what they're looking for, and some properties that they've closed on in the past, recently, preferably, so you can get a feel for what they like. That's what you're going to say at least, but understand that the value of getting that, those addresses of properties that they've closed on, it goes way further than just, putting an eye on what they like or whatever. You can actually kind of hold their feet to the fire and know that they're real, know that they're a real buyer, know that this is something that they've closed on. And a lot of times they can give you that address like within a couple seconds, a few seconds. It shouldn't take them that long. And that's how you can kind of weed out the real from the fake. And when you get on these calls, just make sure that you're nice and comfortable. Remember that you don't owe them nothing. At the end of the day, you're calling to put money in their pocket. You're not calling them with stress. You're not aggravating them like a lot of people may have that negative self-talk like they're bothering someone or something like that. Look, landlords only have people call them with problems all day. Like, yeah, my toilet is overflowing. They shit all over my apartment. Hell, this is the type of phone calls that they getting all day. And you're calling telling them like, hey, I'm calling to put money in your pocket. I'm calling to make you richer than what you already are. I'm calling to solve some of the headaches that you have right now. Maybe you want to have more acquisitions every month. Well, I can help you in that. I know how time consuming it can be to actually get out here and find good deals, especially with the inventory being so low in our market right now. That's how you want to be talking to them. You want to showcase your expertise. Let them know that you know what you're talking about. If you've got general contracting experience, kind of toss that into the conversation. If you got a background in psychology or something, use that on the phone call with these people. If you've been doing cold calls and sales, just be normal and natural, just like you would on any other sales call. So like utilize what you have and kind of bounce off that power and that energy. Make sure that you're mirroring them as well. That's another tip. Like, so mirror the person that you're talking to. If you get on the phone and this person is all high energy, like, yeah, man, daughter, then you want to bounce that off on you. Want to like, man, hey, I hear you, Rick. I hear you, man. Hey, you crazy, man. You crazy. Hey, tell me more. Get them talking, but match their level of energy. But if you're talking to a person that's real down talking, kind of low tone and pace, they're not really active, then that's how you bring your stuff down some, and you kind of match their tone and their pace and like their tonality, how they feel on the phone. Like you just match that. If they're real calm and comfortable sounding, you just sound real calm and comfortable sounding, stuff like that, just like that. But if they're all turned up, you get turned up with them. That's how you do that. Mirroring works great when you're on these sales calls, whether it be buyers, sellers, or anybody else. You want to be mirroring them. People like to do business with people that remind them of themselves. So it's super important that you are showing them themselves in you. And like I said, make sure that they're talking. Studies over and over and over again have shown that when salespeople talk more than the seller on the phone, they always lose, almost inevitably. It's like if you talk more than 50% of the time that you're on the phone with that person, don't expect for them to sign no contracts no time soon. Don't expect for them to be actually wanting to work with you, because studies say that the more you're talking, the less likely you are to get the deal. Ask questions. If they're already talking, giving you all the information that you need, ask them extra follow questions and like say little things like, hey, I hear you, and say little things like, fair enough. Like if, they're talking about how many properties they have and stuff, like kind of, give them the little, okay, I hear you. Like make them feel good. Kind of like help them along the process. Okay, you don't want the questions to feel like an FBI interview. You want it to feel so cool, calm, casual, and collected. You want to just talk to them as though you've known them for years. You want to be like, yeah, John, I hear you, man, tell me more about that. So you want to ask them about their family. Write this stuff down, so when you call them back, you be like, man, how's Marge doing? You know what I mean? So it's like you really want to, don't go dead in for the jugular sometimes. Like sometimes maybe, don't get me wrong, you're going to be going dead in for the jugular with the buyers. But with some sellers, you don't want to go dead in for the jugular. You want to actually be, when I say go in for the jugular, it's like, what I mean is a lot of people go straight in for the real estate, just trying to purchase the real estate. What I recommend is that you broaden out what you're actually calling for. Let them know that you're there for them as a person, that you can help them as an individual and like the situation that they're going through. Don't make it all about the real estate. Ask them about their brother, son, sister, daughter, cousin. Ask them about their family. Ask them how long they've been in the place. Ask them about some memories that they've had there. Ask them what made them want to purchase the place and da 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 da. Things like that. So where it's like, it's more comprehensive. It's more than just, oh, I want to buy this place. How much money, da 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 da. Like, yeah, that's important, but that's not always the only motivating factor for a lot of these people that we'll be working with. So I kind of keep all of this stuff in mind. I know I'm just dishing this stuff out. I'm kind of just talking. It's real casual, but I have these conversations all the time about what you actually need to watch out for on these calls. So I'm just giving it to you as it's coming back to my brain from these previous conversations that I've been having over and over and over. So I want you all to kind of keep these things in mind. Make sure that you're grinding. It's a numbers game out here. Now, I always tell people you really want to have like 10 to 15 cash buyers on your team before you really, really get started. That's my personal opinion. But here's this. Just hear me out right here. When I say you need 10 to 15 cash buyers, it may take you 100 to 150 contacts with homeowners to get those 10 cash buyers. So it's about a 10% conversion rate when you're on the phone. If you choose to just message people, then that could be like a 2% conversion rate. I recommend getting on the phones with these people and or going out to REIA meetings. That's another great way to find cash buyers. Another way to find them is go to Craigslist and the real estate wants it section and find them there. Some of those people will be wholesalers though. But use those 3 sites that I told you about. Go section8.com, forrentbyowner.com, and forSaleByOwner.com. Go there, go to REI meetings. You can grab you a list from motivatedsellerleads.org, or, you can use Propstream as well. That's another great one. They give you up to 10,000 leads every month on Propstream. Like I said at the beginning of this, I do have the free training so you can learn how to automate your business just using Propstream. It's like that one tool that'll help you do everything. Anyway, though, guys, so I hope that this podcast helps. I think that that's just about it. Like I said, don't be subservient, though. I don't even have this stuff written down. Like I said, I'm just going off the top. So don't be subservient, though. Make sure that it's an even playing field. Make sure that you mirror the person that you're talking to on the phone. Make sure that you get the vital information from that person, which is their criteria, their contact information, and some properties that they've closed on recently. So you can get a feel for what they like, quote unquote. That's what you're going to tell them. And so if you haven't already, make sure that you grab my files. If you want some help kind of on these calls or whatever, I've got all of my scripts already written out, so you don't really have to create your own. Or just create your own script or grab another one from off the internet. There's plenty of them available. If you want to grab mine, there will be a link in the description of this podcast, so you can check those out. But yeah, so make sure that you actually use a script, though. I do think that it's important, especially at the beginning. But understand, let me take a step back. I almost forgot about this. So, like I said, it may take you 100 to 150 contacts to get those 10 to 15 buyers. It's like a 10% conversion rate. But also keep in mind that even though I say you may need 10 to 15 cash buyers before you get started, if you really talk to wholesalers who are out here doing a decent amount of deals, at least in one particular area, you're usually going to be working with like 2-3 buyers, closing 80% or more of your deals with just like a few buyers that pretty much just buy everything that you have. So kind of keep that in mind. More often than not, like, you're really only going to need a few, and you're looking for the heavy hitters that have the deepest wallets to be able to kind of just purchase anything that you have, and you can just be their acquisition guy essentially. So kind of keep that in mind. Like, if you find like a superstar type dude or a lady or whatever, and you want to start finding them some properties, don't go all the way to the 10, 15 people. And so, like, don't get me wrong, you want to keep going and always be building up your cash buyers list, but don't feel like, I got this great cash buyer over here who seems legit. They say they purchased 100 properties, top me off this big ass list of properties. Look, start hunting for that person. That's when you need to start multitasking and doing more than one thing. So start hunting for some properties for that person, as well as, continuing to call more cash buyers. And one of the easiest ways to go out and find some properties for a fresh cash buyer that you just came across could be to try to look for a JV deal. And you can do that by getting on Craigslist, getting on Facebook groups and things of that nature, and just looking for people who are posting wholesale deals and just ask them if they want to do a JV deal together. All right, so I know that that's a lot of content all in one podcast, but I hope that this helps, guys. I know it's a little bit longer than what I normally do on the podcast when I'm just talking and whatnot, but I really hope that you all get a lot of value in this. If you do, guys, do me a favor. If you're checking this out on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening, I noticed that like 80% of the people listen on Apple Podcasts, which is cool. If you are listening on there, guys, I would really appreciate it if you could just leave me a rating and review. Like, your feedback really, really means a lot to me, and it really helps the channel grow. So let me know what you all think. I would appreciate it. I think that's about it, guys. Don't forget, I've got the Propstream training tutorial free available for you. It's going to probably be the first link in the description of this video. I hope that you all are having a blessed rest of your day, guys. And until next time,